Draft is ready, and the first ban of the game, just like in solo queue, once you lose to Graves, you ban Graves for the rest of the day, and that's exactly what Rogue is going to do. They'll take the Sejuani off the table. There's the Yuumi. Caitlyn also banned. Aatrox is still up.
All right, so what will the final ban here for Rogue be? Because this is where the game of chicken comes out. We know that Aatrox is strong, and Rogue have to be willing to say, we will pick it if you leave it open. But that's then the question. This will also set the precedent for any remaining games that we have if they choose to ban away the Aatrox here.
And these mind games in the draft, in a series, I think is one of the things that is so fun about best of 5 compared to best of 1. The Fiora's banned out, so they're saying you must ban Aatrox because if you don't, you can't even take the #1 counter.
Yeah, exactly. They're trying to force it a little bit, but I feel like JDG were going to ban the Aatrox regardless anyway. And now you have the tank for Odo. The Maokai is insta-lock.
So there is also the Sylas problem. Something that we saw from Yagao was he was quite happy to lock in Sylas specifically into Maokai because the ability to steal away the ultimate, when you pair that with an Ornn, that was how they came back in the game. Well, it wasn't completely how they came back into the game versus down 1, but being able to steal that ultimate away has proven to be a very effective answer to the Maokai.
And for Yagao, the 7 group stage games played by JDG, Sylas was played in 4 of those by him, right? This is a champion he loves to play, and this is a champion that he's going to go ahead and lock in. Hope is going to be running it back there on the offenders.
Yeah, right back to it. Has emerged as one of the premier AD carries for the bottom side. Not a lot of weaknesses to try and attack it with. There have been some rumors about the Kog'Maw Lulu showing back up again. Hasn't quite
believe it when
made it all the way.
yeah,
Exactly. Hasn't made it all the way to the stage. So we'll hold off on that one as it's a run back for the bottom lane.
So they're keeping with the Lucian Nami. I'm a little bit surprised, honestly, but it's something that Rogue bot lane saying we're comfortable with it. We know we have agency on it, and in the laning phase, it looked like they were definitely struggling, but perhaps now, if Malrang chooses to play the Maokai instead of it going top lane, there will be more gang setup on the bot side of the map.
And talking about that setup, I mean, one of our big subjects of conversation in the first game was how the movements of Kanavi and the way that he was forcing Rogue to play around him and his pathing made it so a lot of help wasn't coming down there for Comp and Trimby early. So I am excited to see how things differ or maybe even stay the same here in the second time. But there's the Lulu, exact same bottom lanes being run back this time around as Victor gets banned away by JDG.
Rhino being removed on the side of Rogue. Actually choosing to limit the jungle pool here. It's quite an interesting direction. I almost expected them to ban something away like the Ornn. Perhaps they're fine giving that over to JDG, but again, I'd be really concerned with the amount of engage that JDG would then have on their side. From JDG's perspective, wouldn't be surprised to see the Azir banned away here. They may even consider banning away the Akali. Larson didn't play it a lot, but he does have some experience on the champion. I don't think they're too afraid of the LeBlanc. No, they're actually going to choose to remove Malrang's Jarvan and remove his initiation tool.
If they keep going with jungle, you would think something like the Viego has been so popular for a lot of the LPL junglers, for Kanavi himself as well. Long history on it. But he has also played a lot of other things, you know, one-offs. He has a very deep champion pool, even the Pantheon jungle, the Bel'Veth jungle. So if you continue to target jungle here, Kanavi will definitely be able to dig a little deeper and have something left.
Kanavi's jungle pool in Worlds so far before today was Viego, Graves, Nidalee, Lee Sin, Vi. He's not playing meatballs, he's playing these playmakers, he's playing these carries. The Gragas is banned away, and sure enough, the Ruined King is hovered. I would not at all be surprised to see it locked in. It's next to the Graves as one of the only champions he played more than one game of during groups, and it's Kanavi Viego.
These JDD drafts have been incredibly consistent. They really stayed true to themselves, staying to their own style here, and continuing with what they've had success on, both in LPL and even here at Worlds. So now Rogue, how are they going to mix it up here into the Sylas? We've had a couple of LeBlanc attempts, but they haven't been that successful.
Okay, so they're committing to putting the Maokai top lane, and they will be giving Malrang a little bit more agency. The Lee Sin to Viego matchup, definitely not the worst for Lee Sin. It's not going to be as painful as it was in game 1, that's for sure. But in terms of their setup, they're very reliant here on the Nami Maokai combo to be able to fight later on.
Yes, the shout out for Trimby for the dash into the Heimerdinger support. Got a lot of flack for that one. In the end, I think it's no surprise though. You need AP carry and scaling threat if you're going to have a team fight. And Rogue at the end of the day, they need to be able to team fight behind this Maokai front line, so they still lock in the Azir for Larson, even seeing Yagao, Sylas, preemptively.
I was thinking that a Renekton was something we could see from JDG, but right now they're hovering the Gwen. I don't think we're actually
It's a
yet to
family
see it.
reunion!
I don't think we've actually seen the Gwen yet at Worlds. Oh, actually, you can see the pick percentage 4%, so that's already proven me wrong.
I think we have.
But 369's Gwen. Of course, Gwen has been a champion that tormented Pro League for an incredibly long time. She had some changes not too long ago, which suddenly brought her back into the meta. Then she got nerfed a little bit, and then Pro kind of pushed her out of play once more. But seeing it in the hands of 369, especially after the performance he had in Game 1, a winning topside matchup, he's looking to be a real side lane threat here in this game.
And you talk about the Azir being locked in as the final pick for Rogue, needing that range, needing that magic power. Gwen doesn't mind range too much. She likes to go immune and could be a big problem for this main late game cannon that Rogue have in Lars.
And Gwen loves to be able to have, you know, a nice, smooth, early scaling lane here, you know, into the Maokai. Should be able to scale no problem into those couple of items. It's really once you hit that 2-item power spike that the Gwen starts to strike fear into the hearts of the rest of the team.
And while it is true that Rogue don't really have anyone to match this Gwen on a side lane, what I will say is that that's a lot of short-range champions on the side of JDG into an Azir, Maokai, Nami. They're going to have to running into these champions. They're actually very good at disengaging with Lee Sin Kick, Maokai ultimate, Nami ultimate, the Nami bubble, Azir wall. Like, JDG's team fighting is really going to be pushed to the limit in this game. But the question is, how much of an early game lead can they build, similar to what we saw in Game 1?
And in Game 1, you were talking about how good of a team fighting squad these guys are, how they find the angles, they find the moments, and this game will truly test that. Rogue is down 0-1. They would love to tie it up here with a win on the blue side, make it an even game, and we'll see if they can make it happen. JDG and Rogue are out onto the Rift for Game 2.
LPL currently 8-4 all time with best of 5s versus LEC. And up 1 game in this series.
And as we're getting into it, you can make sure to grab the exclusive, very NASA's much wow, emote from Prime Gaming by connecting your League of Legends account with your Prime account, as these guys are not going to connect a whole lot of spells on each other very early here, but JDG is setting up in the Pixel Brush, and Larson will be the one hanging out nearby, seeing them forcing their way into the jungle.
Okay, the ward will be killed there.
Nice.
It looks like that did end up going over to missing. Everyone will... I'm going to quickly check Yao's XP, see if he... Yeah, so Yao did get a little bit of XP off the back of that, which means that he should be able to get level 2 off of the very first wave.
Yeah, as long as you share a ward kill with 3 or less players, then the solo laner can definitely hit level 2 off of 1 wave. If you share with 4, spread too much, but they didn't have everybody on invade, so we'll be fine.
Look at this, a lot of pings coming down onto the blue buff. Gwen is trying to gain information on where Malrang started, and they're like, pinging, where is the blue? But they also have the ward on the red, which means they're like, where is Malrang starting? They don't have full information right now. Him choosing to start on the wall, similar to last game, is kind of throwing JDG off a little bit in terms of what his early game plan is.
And again, I always want to point out for Malrang, he is so consistent with this. Multiple jungle champions. He always really prioritizes the early control ward, that denial of vision, so he can make those creative plays and keep his information available to the opponents to a minimum.
Look at Kanavi in the mid lane once again. Larson with the early push. Ooh, and Larson actually skills the E at level 2. Very rare. Something that you don't often see on Azir. I wonder if he was even holding on to that skill just at the last second in the event of an early gank.
That's what I'm assuming here, knowing how Kanavi might want to make this happen, knowing how the range versus melee early on. Azir's going to have the push. He waits on it. It allows him to save the flash and really not take any damage at all from the game.
And very interesting here from Malrang as well, because he has not done his either of the buffs still. He just went to Raptors and then Krugs as well, only doing the small camps, really trying to keep JDG in the darkness so he can have that surprise early play, only just now transitioning over to red after he knows that early invade ward on his red buff has expired.
And again, we're seeing in this bot lane 2 versus 2, JDG have the push, but they have the push in top lane as well with 369 playing as you would expect with the Gren, quite aggressively into the Maokai, expecting to be able to win out on those short skirmishes, but Larson maintaining control of the mid lane 1v1 as Kanavi's now made his way, looking for a bot lane gank.
Hope shot out the Q there from that Calibrum, did not connect.
Oh,
so
heal.
Comp still at 400 HP. Malrang's coming down to try to stop this, but Trimby's gonna be jumped on first. 100 HP remaining, he's killed, they're both killed. Rogue has lost 2 already and Malrang couldn't do a thing about it.
Oh, that was disgusting! JDG, such a clean tower dive double kill. Betty, that is terrible news for Rogue.
I didn't even see how Comp died. After he flashed, I thought that he would be fine, but they're able to secure another kill onto him as well, losing both members. And the wave, it's so massive for JDG's bot lane 2v2. Let's have a look back and see exactly how this one played out.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this tower aggro juggling here, because they wait for the wave to move in, and then they're gonna have Missing pick it up first here, go aggressive with it on Comp under the tower. They get the stun, they get the ignite down as well, flashed out. Very, very clean stuff.
My word, and I think that was quite an early cleanse from Comp. A lot was happening on my screen, so I'd have to go back and rewatch it, but the ignite ended up coming in afterwards as well, so much damage was still being thrown down onto Comp, and they end up falling short in the dive.
Yeah, I definitely would want to take another look at it too, because very rare you go for 2 kills at once, but they got them both.
Gentlemen, we don't have the time to take another look because 369 just dropped, and it's Malrang getting Rogue on the board.
Na'Vi once again, though, going to move into the enemy jungle, reminiscent of what we saw in the first game. Will Malrang spot this out?
Can't
Will he?
see.
You should know, though.
Got it into
Doesn't
the
look
rush.
like it. And now here comes Viego looking for another one. He'll walk into the smoke, fights Malrang here for the Gromp. Malrang having a
wins
smite,
this.
he can take that.
Silas is first though on the roam.
Exactly.
Really good communication there from Rogue. Mid lane had gone back to base. Larson telling him, hey, sorry, Yagao's gonna roam before me. You have to give this up.
So he's going to choose to back away, go to reset. 369 did invest the Ghost in that top lane play. Perhaps this is an area of the map that Rogue can continue to attack, but the problem is this bot lane issue is only going to become a bigger and bigger issue as Hope and Missing are already so far ahead, a 20 CS lead in the isolated 2 versus 2 with a massive XP advantage. Rogue are going to have to make something dramatic happen to get this bot lane back in the game.
And this is, again, they opted into this. This was the salty run back from the Rogue bottom lane here. But again, JDG with the early Aphelios Lulu pushing it in. And now Yagao coming to support Kanavi.
I'm loving how they're playing this. Viego versus Lee Sin is not a 1v1 when the Silas is always getting involved. Yagao using this pick to try to move around and make plays. And now those plays might just be made bottom lane yet again. Comp and Trimby are in the sights of JDG, but Malrang is close enough that JDG do not want to overextend on a bad dive here, so they call it off.
I love what we're seeing from JDG, really enabling their bot lane this time around, and actually taking a bit of a hard pivot away from what we saw in Game 1. It was all about enabling Kanavi in Game 1, making sure that the wave states were in a position to allow him to invade and push. But now Kanavi's just invading to gain information on where Malrang is, and then he's using that information to then make good decisions, and a lot of that is just playing around the stack waves on bot to further enable Hope and Missing.
They are just so well coordinated here. And then you can see it in the execution of the tower dive. Ward's now also set up here for bottom side dragon control, but it's a bot lane gank from Malrang.
Oh, Trimby going in for the flash bubble, but it misses. And Kanavi's ready to go clean them up. Serve up the fish sticks, boys. JDG is eating good in bottom lane.
Oh, another attempt at a flash bubble, and it's just a fish flashing forward to his own death there. Hope with the sidestep. Has the heal for the speed, moves out of the way, and cuts him down.
And we talked about how they feel forced to try and do something, but it was over-forced, and JDG just laugh at them as Rogue is forced to limp away. This is going to be a dragon secured for JDG as well. Kanavi getting pretty low going up against the Cloud Drake, but for the most part, he's just fine.
I think you're right about the laughing. You love to see that as a jungler. Your bottom lane gets ganked while you start out dragon. So Kanavi had just pulled the dragon as the gank showed, and he's like, oh no, do you need me? And they 2v3, take care of their own business. Nah, man, we're all good here.
No worries. It's a great feeling as a jungler when you can depend on your lane like that. Back up here in top side, it is still a bit of a lead for 369 in the farm, but you can see Odoamne has about that many creeps to still be able to pick up. They both use their ultimates when we panned up here earlier, so neither of those cooldowns are up. But Malrang still only level 5. Now, well, not hitting level 6 just yet. Still has about half that EXP bar to go. Trimby and Calm. Oh, the back even gets interrupted.
Yeah, the double stop here as he goes aggressive. This Spell Thieves as well is going to get charged super early. Missing got early charges on the level 1 invade. He has been harassing constantly. Everything going their way here for JDG as Kanavi tries to sweep out some vision.
And it's another one of those situations where domestically, Larssen, one of the biggest criticisms that was always thrown towards him was that he wouldn't roam in the same way that many other mid laners would. The humanoids, the caps of the league that would actually sack waves in order to attack side lanes. We're seeing it again from Yagao, where while Larssen is building an individual lead, he's doing what he's supposed to do on the Azir, but Yagao is more than happy to sacrifice waves in order to get advantages elsewhere.
Oh, nice kick coming out from Malrang, looking for Kanavi here, but he can still get himself away. Flash and ulti had to be used to escape that one. Kanavi walking right into the control warded brush. Was not expecting Malrang to immediately be there to make the play.
Larssen choosing not to commit the flash. He did have the ultimate available, but they don't find the play. Malrang once again hovering around top side, but he is used for 369. That's going to force the ghost.
Yeah, I think that lack of full commitment right there is one of the big differences, because they then see the support roam timer missing up there with the Lulu. So even with the health chunk onto the jungler, it doesn't mean anything for Rogue, because JDG can still start off that Rift Trail knowing Nami, Lucian were still in the bottom lane. Missing was here on the support roam timer. And so JDG still get the objective after Rogue get a big chunk.
And we're seeing some of the same issues that Rogue had during the regular season, being able to contest these neutrals within the first 8 minutes of the game. Herald, Dragons are something that they often concede in exchange for early kills. Yagao now looking for a bit of a fight here with Malrang. Malrang's just going to slide his way out of it. You can see the damage really starting to come through from Yagao. But this is only going to further make life difficult for Rogue. They don't necessarily have to invest the Herald bot. I think they could even use it top to funnel more gold into 369 with the advantages that they've already been able to build up bot. But it feels like from this point on, JDG have a firm control over the game, or only 10 minutes in.
Yeah, I cannot wait for this Gwen headache to appear in the side lane, as 369 has had such a smooth early lane phase, and with the ult started out already, chunking Odo down under his own turret, it just continues. Such smooth scaling here. Highest CS on his team, has almost tied Larssen as well as he cleans up this wave, and will be able to reset no problem.
All right, we do have a bit of an issue for Rogue here in the early game. They're 2,000 gold down. As you can see, 369 going for even more here with the plates.
Ignores him for the turret plate there. Maokai damage is very little to worry about here for him. So shrugs it off, gets the extra money for himself before going back.
10-minute Gale Force ready to go for Hope, who did get one of those early kills down here in the bottom lane. Kanavi has showed up yet again. Blue Gun is great for shoving out these waves and getting another crash into the turret. There are only 1.5 plates remaining left on this bottom lane turret for Rogue. Comp and Trimby continue to struggle as Yagao disengages Larssen with the stolen Lee Sin kick, and Hope is just so damn good!
The Gale Force combined with the ultimate. Beautiful execution from Hope, finds a 2v2 kill, and JDG are dominating the bot side of the map.
Oh, Vetty, this is actually just brutal to watch here. JDG are firing on all cylinders. Nobody giving an opening here to Rogue to even try and fight back. 369 on the top side, though, as I speak. He might be the opening.
Remember, this is how they got their first kill in the game, and now Rogue are looking to do it again. Malrang takes the Q2 and gets the kill onto the top laner.
That's where all the kills have come from, where all the money so far, and it's going into a lethality Lee Sin.
It's a consolation prize at this point. Kanavi will smite that one away. Let's see if Rogue can get something.
Oh,
Another
Rogue
pick.
will get something indeed. Kanavi drops and Larssen gets the kill. Nice catch there.
So while it is a small mistake coming out from the side of JDG, in the bigger picture, it really doesn't mean much, because you see this gaping void in the bot side of the map where it feels like Rogue don't even have an AD carry at this point in the game, whereas JDG's Hope is fully online and ready to dominate.
At least off those mistakes here from JDG, Rogue will be able to get a dragon for themselves. They will be able to get an objective in addition to the extra gold from those two straggling kills. So a nice little, another spark of hope given over here as it puts a stop to any JDG stacking. as well as giving some nice sustain. An Ocean Dragon pretty early into the game here, just 13 minutes, can help out, you know, like this Maokai against the Gwen pretty significantly.
You call it a spark of hope, but they don't want hope anywhere near them. They want hope to stay very far away, Kobe.
Hope hurts right now. Hope is very painful. Gale Force.
A lot of tower shots. Hang on a minute.
He's nearly dead there from the turret shots, but Rogue won't be able to collapse in time. They're still going to get the plate money there from getting the Herald charge, only 30 seconds before those plates would fall. Over a 3,000 gold lead now for JDG.
And 2,000 of it sits in the difference between the 80 carries. Like, it is, yeah, that's one way of describing it. It's one of those situations where Larson is farming very well. He's kind of your late game insurance as the game goes on, and Odoamne will be a threat and difficult to deal with because you expect Hope to go for the Bloodthirst a second. He won't have many tools in his kit to be able to rip through the front line that is Odoamne. And Rogue's comp, it does scale quite well into the game. The problem that they'll have is managing with 369 in the side lane later on, and the fact that Yagao can steal away this Maokai ultimate means that JDG do have ways to start fights of their own.
And it's such a cool story for Hope as well. You know, both him and Cop joining these teams so recently, but for Hope especially in the LPL, there's so many star AD carries that get the limelight all the time, and yet Hope has been such a huge performer for JDG throughout this entire year.
It's pretty interesting how, as you rightly said, both of them join at the beginning of the year, then in summer both AD carries are able to win their first title. And previously they were both kind of trapped in the organizations, with Hope existing on EDG and then Rogue Comp being trapped in Vitality, even being benched at one point in his career. The fact that they've both been able to make it this far within their careers and have been such massive turning points, eyes now fall on them, especially here in Game 2, where Comp is in such a deficit and Hope is being raised to be the carry for this game.
Exactly. Eyes are on Comp to be able to try to find some way back into this game, be relevant on the Lucian, find that damage that did give Rogue that angle in Game 1 where they caught up to JDG, where they evened the gold. It was Comp's damage getting it done in those fights, but JDG's lead is very scary. 4,000 gold now as Hope leads the charge, has Gravitum, so can provide extra CC here if they need it, but no fight is going to break out just yet, as Yagao will be sent top to deal with a wave there. Kanavi coming up, might look for Larson, doesn't find the stun. Larson could just walk it off.
I like this macro from JDG simply because they know they're so far ahead, they don't want to let Rogue answer with one of these cross-map plays. Azir was trying to take that turret on top side while they got the split push done, but JDG make the threat moving up into the river. They don't want to let any of this early gold from one of the outer towers go down, and they easily secure the Rift Herald for themselves.
Keep your eyes on 369. The moment that they spotted out Malrang, what does he do? Push this bot wave all the way up to the tier 2 tower. He knows he's not at any real threat. Comp, though, going to take a chunk of damage. Hope investing the ultimate to force him back means that this is guaranteed another tower for JDG.
Nicely done from JDG to move it forward, but now they're going to get shoved back. The Maokai ulti flies through. Odoamne is the target, but he's nice and tanky. Yagao dies first, and Rogue have found themselves a man advantage for now. Malrang still trying to get away, but Kanavi puts a sword in his stomach as Hope continues charging forward. It's an even trade, 1-for-1. Mid laner for the jungler, and JDG fall back.
The good news for Rogue is there really isn't that much on that map for JDG to take, but they've already taken your mid tier 1. They're gonna take all of your jungle camps, and while Rogue do find a kill, the gold lead only continues to mount. It's near 5K, and we're not even 17 minutes in yet.
Yeah, because JDG, they still get this tower. They get the objective and trade the kills 1-for-1. Nice little jump here, though. Yagao a little bit too early there. He went into the Maokai ultimate, and then Odo had a nice little bot back on him, and they get the Lee Sin kick to be able to kill Yagao, but it also cost Malrang his life going in for that kick as Kanavi's able to chase him down.
5,000 gold at 17 minutes, man, is a frightening prospect, but the Gwen may once again be a target. Malrang goes in for the chilling smite, but 369 saves his dash, dodges away from the sonic wave. He'll get back underneath the turret as Rogue are still desperately trying to stop this bleeding. 30 seconds until the next Drake spawns. As you guys mentioned earlier, there's no stacking win condition right now for either side. 1-to-1 on that Drake count, but I would expect that Rogue would not want to fight in open ground against JDG with this lead.
So look at how the map is being played out right now. We can see Yagao pushing up the top side. He's going to quickly go back to base, spend what money he can. 369's base actually got interrupted, so he hasn't had an opportunity to reset yet. We can see Maorang looking for a pick.
Okay, 369 may have been caught
Oh,
here, but doing a good job fighting back. 369 chops him up, and Yagao is ready to go in. Everfrost finds the slow, and Kanavi and Yagao will chase Sotawande right back to the ruins of the Tier 1 turret, and those ruins are gonna make a nice tombstone. He keeps trying to run. Odo makes him waste a little more time, but that's 2 for JDG.
The idea was good from Rogue, but the execution was so much better from JDG. It hurt to watch Maorang miss that Q on the kick, because that would have been a kill. But even if he gets that kill, the TP in from Yagao, the fact that Kanavi had control over the bot river, Rogue were intending to convert that kill into a Drake, but instead JDG converted it into 2 more, and the Drake for themselves.
It's a bit of a hands diff here in game number 2. The execution of the dive from Rogue earlier, or the execution from JDG earlier versus this from Rogue now. You can see them going in, but it just doesn't work out.
Yeah, and you know the thought process behind it. You kick, you should be able to guarantee your Q afterwards, but he goes a little bit wide there. Nerves under tower, not able to hit it. And then you just get punished for it. It takes a long time to chop this tree down. Odo demonstrating very nicely the ability of W to dodge so many skill shots, so much damage there, and get off his passive heals, but in the end, they still chase down the kill. They get that objective.
Yagao, his TP timing just couldn't have been better, right? The fact that he just pushed out that top wave, literally just went back to base to spend his gold, and then is able to TP down to the boss side of the map. JDG putting on a clinic once again. Game 1, it was through the jungle. Game 2, it's through the bot lane. And Rogue seem to be routed as JDG is looking to make this 2-0 in this series.
The pain train of the 2-item Gwen has arrived. It's kind of early as well, ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
Pre-20 minutes, and already you have the Void Staff following up that Riftmaker. Those are the items built to melt tanks. 369 is built to completely demolish Odo on the side.
And if you want to talk about 2-item spikes, you got Hope with the same thing here. That Bloodthirster completed next to the Gale Force makes this Fetafelios that much more difficult to ever zero out, to ever make a play on. Still just working with half a second item there over for comp. So that notable difference between 80 carries continues as JDG will now leave the enemy jungle. Rogue still at least have control over some part of the map for themselves. But Yagao is happy to continually go up into this top side, get these waves pushed out, continue getting that solo EXP there on the Sylas. JDG falling back again here with 369 because they know he's always the target.
And a little bit of a reminder why JDG consider one of the big favorites coming into the tournament overall. The team play, the individual play, let's get another look at it here as Kanavi blast cone over, and he does run straight into Lee Sin. Gonna have to call for some backup there. The numbers are heading down. Look at the mini-map. Rotating all the way over here. The rest of the JDG members clearing out the vision on their way.
But I don't think we're going to get a fight. I don't think there's anybody ready to quite square off just yet, at least not until more backup arrives. As you can see, Rogue giving it up. They're going to fall back here a little bit. Trimby and Larson making their way out as Kanavi just clears out the waves down in bottom. Hope is left alone in mid lane, just continuing to funnel farm here into the AD carry.
The damage from Larson is very real. Level 14 on the mid laner. 2 items have been completed, and he is matching Hope on CS, but I don't know if he alone is enough to be the turning point. Eyes will be on him. A lot of responsibility and pressure on his shoulders. When we think about the European greats, Larson has always been considered a good European mid laner, but never really one of the best. And this could be a big opportunity for him to prove himself internationally, especially when you go back 2 years and Yagao really had his number when they met in the group stages of 2020.
Yep, the only surviving matchup of that 2020 matchup there, Larson versus Yagao. Both of them remembering. JDG, though, they're right over to Baron. 22 minutes into the game, they're going to burn it down here. It's red-white guns for Aphelios. That thing will melt.
And you've got Viego working on it too. He's a nice Baron DPS. It's already down to 2,000 HP. Rogue won't even make it 2 neighborhoods over before the thing is already down. JDG, 22-minute Baron.
Just flawless map control once again from JDG. They invested so much vision into the top side of the map. They kept Yagao in a side lane to keep the pressure up. and Rogue, they've just never had any options to reclaim that control. And you can see how suffocating JDG can be. They showed it in game 1, they're showing it again in game 2.
Rogue getting whatever they can, knowing they do not want a fight with a Baroned up JDG. They take the mid lane tier 1, but sacrifice their top lane tier 2 for it. JDG are not backing off. They're just gonna take the tier 3 turret here in topside as well. And there it is, less than 1 minute after the Baron, they've broken into the base. Damage from Larson, finding hope here a little bit. Gwen is immune, looking to walk out, but she gets caught at the very edge of her own zone. 369, he's down. And Odoamne trying to retreat now as they'll find Kanavi as well. Rogue just got 2. Yagao dove into the middle of all 5 players, and Rogue may be able to find a third. Flash out, keeps Yagao going. Nicely done, nicely fought from Rogue.
We got to see the nerf on Gwen. The duration on the immunity on the W was taken down, and he ends up going back to get rooted. Rogue, some signs of life here, picking up 2 kills for them. It is very sad that there's no Baron or anything up for them to take, but if they can get this Dragon, that's a 500 gold base objective shutdown, a lot of extra gold, plus the Dragon stats here. 5K and counting.
JDG doesn't want to let him grab it. Malrang still doing the damage here. Larson helping him out.
Oh my.
There we go. That was way too close for comfort. Yagao seeing if he could chase him over the wall, but he won't find it. Let's take another look at the top side and how Rogue found this opening.
So you can see the damage from Larson is still very good. He forces Hope back, and remember that there's no real way for Yagao to get involved in this fight because of how separated he is. The root comes down onto 369. He gets chunked out of the fight with the finish off from Comp, and then Kanavi comes in from the flank, only to end up being killed himself.
Yeah, 369 thought he was being a little cheeky there, surfing on the Maokai ultimate with his W immunity up. It runs out, and he's still in there, so gets rooted. And Kanavi was trying to come around for the pincer movement with the exact timing, but ends up giving his kill over as well. Meanwhile, a sneak attack here from Rogue gets a little bit of a chunk onto 369 again.
369's fine though, he's chilling, he's having a good time, still most of the HP bar left. Trimby's at half HP, he dies instantly if somebody hits him.
I think JDG is over-grouping right now. They have the TP on Yagao, and he still has the Baron buff. He could just be pushing in the mid lane, but instead they're giving Rogue an option here. The fact that Rogue can stay together as 5 and fight's the best case scenario for Rogue.
And it looks like we might get that fight. Stolen Maokai ulti over the wall here as Yagao's gonna eat some damage. JDG, they wanted to force, they wanted to make a move, but it ain't gonna happen. Rogue hold the line.
JDG are just running face first into an Azir. And it's not just any Azir, it's a level 15 Azir that's nearly got 3 items completed. I feel like that they're just wasting their time here when they could have been playing the map much more aggressively. They had so many more options on the map, but instead choosing to tunnel into that bot lane has given Rogue time to get more farm, get more levels, and still have a chance in this game.
Yeah, I mean, the timing on the mistake over there in the top lane where 369 gets caught was perfect for Rogue. That opening to be able to go over just as Dragon is spawning, and even without Malrang's Smite, bursting it down to 63 health and then getting the Dragon plus the objective bounty shutdown, taking more things off the map so that JDG couldn't, punish them for the next few minutes as well, gives them some time to try and farm back into this. Your hopes of that Azir carrying in the late game are alive.
The biggest thing for JDG is that Hope has now secured an Infinity Edge, but so has Comp. I was not expecting him to have the money to just secure that. You imagine that all of the objective bounties and the kill that he was able to get early on to 369 have contributed to that. And look at that, Larson just turned level 16. Things are starting to look a little brighter for the side of Rogue.
Rogue are going to need to continue this, however, continue scaling up, continue getting those big items. There's the Sonic Wave onto Hope, but Malrang knows there's not really a play to be made there with that one, so doesn't take the Q2, as Rogue will continue trying to defend, trying to fight for vision here in their own jungle. A different look from the last game where everything was so dark. Rogue felt like they didn't have any way to even make it out into their own jungle. They've at least still got a foot here as Kanavi. 30% HP. They'll have to walk away from this one. And Rogue have done a good job of stopping that bleeding I was talking about earlier. They are holding the line now against a JDG that's still looking like they don't have a solid plan of where to go from here.
Yeah, they clench their teeth here on the red buff. They secure their own red buff and are even able to give it over to Comp. Instead of having to smite it away, they bully Kanavi off of it. The small wins here for Rogue really stacking up. JDG, though, still have supreme control of the map, and with the Baron now arriving in 40 seconds, all they have to do is push out on the bottom lane first, set up plenty of this vision through blue quadrant. Thank you, Missing. Perfect timing on that one to be able to set up and see the approach from Rogue, because there is quite a nice turn here from JDG. If Yagao is able to steal away this Maokai ultimate, they'll be able to peel off of it and try to punish.
Yeah, I think the most important takeaway right now is, yes, Rogue have found a brief moment of respite. They've been able to recover, secure a couple more items, secure a couple more levels, and things look favorable, but they still need to get into an area of the map that they don't control. And this is something that they have struggled with in both Game 1 and Game 2. Let's see if they can get to the stronghold of JDG.
Whoa, it's early though. The Baron is still at 7,000.
Okay, this could be the big make or break moment. Yagao's found his way into the back, nearly instantly kills Trimby. The Baron is secured by JDG, and 369 is ready to fight. The Ghost is already activated. Oruamne tries to survive here in the very front, but he won't do it. Hope on a killing spree, 5v4 for 45 seconds, and they aren't done yet. Yagao is so low. Kanavi's made his way into the middle, but now he's all alone. Hope finally joins the fray, and he's firing off the bullets left and right. Larson and Trimby try to get away, but Hope takes out Comp, and JDG are 5v3.
JDG just wipe Rogue off the map as they just walk up and watch JDG as they secure the Baron. It felt like Rogue wanted to do something, but there was no window, and JDG shut Rogue down.
The inhibitor turret collapses. The inhibitor collapses. The other one is exposed, but they do not care. JDG is looking to end game 2. They go straight on in. They'll claim Malrank, and Larson tries to escape underneath the turret. It won't matter. Nexus falls. JDG moved to match point.
With only the smallest little hiccup there for JDG. Barely a speed bump on their way to victory in this game.
It feels like that JDG just has a much better understanding of how to play these fights. At every opportunity Rogue tried to see a window, JDG immediately close it. They cover it with curtains, they just dim it out. There is no window for Rogue, and it immediately gets shut down. It's an impressive performance overall from JDG.